Here we are at winter solstice or summer solstice for those of you who are in the southern hemisphere. As part of our reflections, what we all notice, I think, is that we bring a lot of the past into the present. And that's always the case with everything that we do. When it's something significant that holds either really positive or really traumatic memories, oftentimes it will be more intrusive. Sit for a second and notice, what is it that you're feeling about the holidays right now? Depending on what you celebrate, if you celebrate winter solstice or Christmas, Diwali, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. But a lot of people are already off work and are traveling. You might have company coming your way. Let's just check in with how we're feeling. And what we notice that there are certain things that are going on in our body. It might be muscles or some kind of sensation, energy. Notice your breath. And take a few deeper breaths. And then take a moment to consider, what is it that now, as an adult, that you've done intentionally around the holidays? Some people go away somewhere if they can. Some people love to have those traditions that they look forward to. If you had no pressure on you from anyone else, what's your sense of what you would like to do through the holidays? Is there something new, something that you'd like to bring back? Or maybe you don't want to engage with the holidays at all. You just kind of ignore the whole thing. Are you shaming yourself or giving yourself a hard time? Well, it looks like everybody else enjoys Christmas. Why do I not? If you have a religious background, there might be religious trauma that's also playing into this, especially if you're not one of the approved groups, if you're queer or somehow different. Maybe you have a lot of experience of being shunned or isolated around religion. So that might also be at play here. Or maybe you have beautiful memories of being in church and singing songs together. Just to take a few minutes as we go into this and bring forward what's here for us, and to see if we could allow that to be as neutral as possible. Not neutral in the sense of the experience, but neutral in the sense of, I'm not judging myself. I'm allowing myself to have the feelings I have. And the winter holidays can also be a real time of grief. Whatever it is that's happened for you up to now during this year, there are many people who are grieving a loss of somebody, a loss of their health, someone who used to be at the holiday table and is not anymore. Like life, holidays can be very complicated, and it tends to intensify around the holidays. If we're feeling isolated, we might feel more isolated, remembering times when we weren't, or wishing for times. For many years, I would have a friend Christmas, gathered together a group of friends who don't have family obligations or who can set aside that time sometime in the holidays and get together for a special meal. Just let ourselves feel into that, what's going on for you. And see if you could bring some lightness to that in the sense of acceptance. And maybe even some possibility to reach out to other people and maybe create some different types of activities over the holidays. One of the things that's really with us around holidays is foods. This is a picture of carrot pudding, which very few people who didn't grow up on the prairies in Canada know what it is. So it's grated carrots, grated potatoes, a bit of flour, and some raisins, and then a brown sugar sauce. And it's steamed like a plum pudding. The first time I had Christmas away from home and I didn't have that, it didn't feel like Christmas. So one of the ways that we can work with foods is perhaps we could make some ourselves. What foods are traditional for you at this time of year? What do you enjoy? maybe that's the only time of year you enjoy or are able to get it. When I was a child, mandarin oranges, the only time we got them was at Christmas. What are your memories around food and winter holidays? And perhaps there's the way to bring that in. Like we can always bring it in as a memory. Remember what it felt like, tasted like, smelled like. And perhaps there are ways to access that type of food as well. Part of our new traditions might be old associations with food that we bring forward. Growing up on the prairies in Canada, I have very different associations with food than many people in different cultures, different parts of the world. So we each have our own associations with this. And then we get to the experience of the holidays, just as now we can really feel into the intensity of our experience. What was that like for you when you were a child? To sense into this and give it some space. Maybe you had a lot of chaos in your family and the added pressure of the holidays made that worse. Maybe there was drinking or other kinds of drugs involved. Maybe there was a lot of fighting in the family, which got worse when everybody was together. So it might have been something like that, or it could also just be in the general overstimulation, too much food, too much sugar, too many people in our space. And as we're sitting with that just for a moment, notice that in your body. See if you could take a few breaths. And some people had a lot closer of an experience to the Hallmark movie version, and some people it was nothing like that. So there might be something we need to let ourselves feel sadness or grief, disappointment, and compassion for that child we were. Gratitude for what we had, and compassion and acknowledgement for what wasn't ideal or what was very harmful. As we look back on our childhood Christmases, Hanukkahs, Diwali, all the different winter holidays, winter solstice. Is there something that you could let go of that would help as we move forward into the new year? If there is, to let yourself feel that in your body. That's often felt as a heaviness. It might be tears, anger. I deserve to have a better holiday than that. And then I go back to school, and all the kids were excited about all the things they got, and I never got that. So there might be an anger at an injustice as well. Let ourselves feel that for a minute. Notice how it feels in the body. We don't have to move on from that immediately. We could let ourselves feel that. And is there anything that I could acknowledge and bring into my heart and let go of expecting or wanting it to have been different? It's true, I really wanted that. And now I could let go of that old dream. Reassure, offer solace to myself, to my younger self as well. That's not how it happened. For me, this is a difficult time of year. And as we center into what our experience was and is, what might we bring in now? So, part of that is to look at the experiences as they've flowed through our lifetime. Are we going along with things that really aren't what we want? It might be because of family pressure, be all kinds of reasons for that. Around the holidays, but also as we're moving into the new year, what is it that's nourishing for you and supporting that you'd like to bring more of in? Who do you spend your time with? Is there some way that you could work with that to make more ease there, more time for people you want to be around, and maybe setting some boundaries for people that are difficult? Let's go into the heart. What does your heart know? And it might be something specific to this year. This year was very difficult for many people. And even if it wasn't the hardest year, as you kind of scan back through the whole of 2024, at the beginning of the year until now, maybe there's some things that you really enjoyed and some things that you let go of willingly or not so willingly. We have a lot of momentum. Oh, here it is this time of year. This is what I do this time of year. This is what I enjoy. This is what I hate. Pause here for a moment and notice, what does happy holidays mean to me? Is that kind of like, yeah, that's not my experience. And yet there's this feeling among many people of goodwill. People are cultivating generosity, some kind of winter celebration in most cultures and countries. Maybe it's just the dark, the days are shorter, we have a little bit more time. And if you're right in the middle of some holiday busyness, it might not be that you're slowing down right at the moment. It's generally this time of year, December, January. What does your heart know? So let's take a few minutes here. What are you savoring? What are you thankful is over? Notice your breath, notice your body. And if anything's getting to be a bit too intense, you could always open your eyes, look around, hold your own hands. What does your heart know? Here we are as we're approaching this new year, and it's the turning of the season. It's winter solstice or summer solstice. If you're in the northern hemisphere, 3 months ago, we welcomed autumn. Let go of summer, we welcomed autumn. Specifically, this last 3 months now, instead of the full year, what's your experience since the beginning of autumn, the end of September through till now, the fall equinox? Are there things that you want to say goodbye to from autumn that you're happy that they're gone? Things that you're welcoming in? I love the whatever it is that you're really enjoying about autumn. And it might be related to the season. It might just be something that happened during that time. And then as we move into this specific season of winter until the spring equinox in 3 months, the days are going to continue to get a bit longer now. It's also usually colder. We have a few more challenges in the winter. Depending on how you are housed, winter can be very challenging. And if you have warm housing where you feel safe, maybe that's something to feel into the gratitude. That's my situation. I'm in a warm, safe environment through this difficult time of year. And maybe that wasn't always the case. Some people really enjoy the coldness of winter. They kind of come alive in that coldness. Other people are like, no way. I just wanted to get warm again. But in addition to the weather, just the rhythm of life, New Year's is often a time when people set intentions. And sometimes people set resolutions that are quite shaming if we don't measure up to some impossible standard. We're not really looking at that. It's more of a what kind of energy do I want to focus on in this next 3 months, but also until winter solstice next year? What is my heart's desire? Is there something that I've been maybe working towards or wanting to open into? And how could I maybe sense into ways to start to move more concretely towards that? And it might be busy, it might be something you want to do, it might be something that you want to not do, like not be so busy. I want to create more space for rest. What is your sense of your assessment of how much you're in alignment with your deepest heart's desires? And how could you open more into that over this next 3 months of winter and this upcoming year? A year from now, if you're looking back, what would you be noticing? What would you be seeing? Don't worry if you don't have a concrete plan. It might be something that's a little more, no, I need to sense into that a little bit more. What is it that would help my days flow more smoothly? And it might be something you have a pretty good idea, like I need to get more in person contact this year, or I need to have some conversations with a couple people about our relationship and I might be moving on from them. Or I've always wanted to play piano, I'm going to take lessons, or just to let yourself sense into a variety of what flows in and out of your mind, what flows in and out of your heart as we're contemplating this. Notice if you could relax your face, mouth and jaw, your neck and shoulders, your back. Notice if there's any lingering judgment or shame. See if you could release that. We live in a culture that's quite shaming, so it's easy to pick that up. In your heart, could you give yourself the space to be who you are, which for all of us is not a perfect human being? There's no such thing. Just allow yourself to really rest in, I'm good enough right now. And I would really enjoy opening more into whatever that is for you. Let yourself really see it. If it's something concrete, feel it in your body. As we move into this new year, we could feel the possibility of more ease, more happiness, more alignment with our heart's desire.